All right. I'm so excited to be here with Liz Tenuto.
I'm so excited to be here with you.
I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks, Caroline.
And we have some mutual friends.
Yes.
Jessica Zweig.
Yes.
It's how we met.
Yes.
Who's also an incredible healer and energy worker and just goddess, as you are.
Thank you.
Y'all are in the goddess culture. Y'all are amazing.
All of us goddesses, circle around together.
That's right.
Yes.
But you live in LA, so you're in town just for a quick trip.
Just for the book.
Because you wrote this book, When the Body Speaks, How Somatic Healing Sets You Free, and The Workout Witch.
Yes.
Okay. The workout. Where did we get that name, The Workout Witch?
I lovingly joke that I am a witch.
Okay, so tell me about that. Because a lot of people will be like, what? What?
Some people, it terrifies some people.
Especially, here in the old Bible Belt, they're like,
Yes.
You're a witch, you're going to hell.
Yes. Yeah, it does terrify some people. Which I don't mean it.
Right
oh, thank you
and
so much.
We just got to keep this mic right up close.
Okay, perfect. I am new to the mic usage.
Oh.
It does terrify some people, and I don't mean it to. Essentially, I am very good at guiding people into healing their bodies. And one thing that people tell me all the time is like, when they're doing it, they're like tiny little movements. And so people are very surprised at how good they feel after doing it, because it doesn't really make logical sense. So one of my clients one time was like, what kind of sorcery is this? You're like a workout witch. And I asked her, like, if I ever start my own business, can I use that as my name? And she was like, oh, absolutely. So,
but it's not actually working out. It's working it out of your body.
Exactly. It's fitness based, it's movement based, but it's not working out in the sense of like breaking a sweat, HIIT classes. It's very relaxing.
Because you say that like feeling like weight loss, even you say is like 80% of healing your trauma and 20% of working out, right?
Yeah, it can be.
Really, that feels hard to believe.
It can be. So I'll explain the science behind that.
Okay.
Essentially, when your body is stuck in its stress response, you have elevated cortisol. And
what is cortisol?
It's your stress hormone.
Okay.
It's one of your primary stress hormones. So cortisol and adrenaline are your primary stress hormones. And when that is kind of flooding through your body, so if you have a really stressful life or if you experience constant stress, it actually blocks your ability to lose weight because your body stores calories as visceral fat, specifically in your stomach, to like save energy for a survival situation.
So it thinks you're going to die soon or going to be in a stressful situation.
Exactly.
So you got to save up because you might not ever eat again.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so it's
protecting you.
It's storing calories there. And that's why so many women have issues losing belly weight, even though they're like eating well and exercising a lot. It's because they're still in this stress response with their body. So what I help women do if they want to lose weight is I really help them get out of that physiological stress response, lower their inflammation, and then they're able to lose weight much more successfully and much more easily.
And you also say, okay, so you're kind of like bucking some of the system because like people are like cold plunge, use vibration plates.
Yes.
And you're like, no,
Yes.
don't. And yoga.
Yes.
I love yoga.
Yes. Okay.
Because I will say yoga, I healed myself a lot in yoga.
Yes.
But there's like a process for healing. I was also doing a lot of other things at the same time.
Exactly. So I'm not anti those things overall, but I am.
There's like an order.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I don't really think like, and the studies for cold plunging, the studies predominantly have been done on men. So women's bodies do respond to cold a little differently than men's do. And specifically, if your nervous system is really dysregulated, if you're stressed a lot, cold plunges aren't the best thing to do right now.
Okay,
so
tell me why.
Because it's a lot related to your survival response. Your body doesn't really know the difference between cold plunging as like a form of wellness versus you just falling into an icy bath or like an icy lake.
Okay.
And so when you get out of the cold plunge, you experience like this surge of energy, but that's because your body thinks that you just avoided death. And so for people who are already stressed out, you're essentially just putting yourself through like a survival type situation. You're simulating that. And you do feel really good and energized afterwards, but it's like a really extreme way of approaching healing for most women, they respond much better to more gentle forms of healing at first. So if you're healing stress, if you're healing trauma, if you're healing dysregulation, you want to start gentle. And then as you start to feel better and you're more at homeostasis with your body, you can totally do cold plunges, vibration plates. And for me with yoga, it's just not the best first thing to do, but it can be really, really healing for people, especially if you're not in a chronic stress state or you haven't experienced trauma. Like for that, I'm like, go for it.
So you have helped over 230 women. You've been doing this
230,000.
230,000. Yeah,
yes.
that's what I meant. 230,000
yes.
women. You've been doing this for 15 years. How did you get going? And this started from a very real place with you, which we were talking a little bit about before in the kitchen, which breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Because this is where I'll cry, because I just feel like you had childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And you are very open about it. And you had sexual abuse as a child.
Yeah.
And that started the beginning of your life.
Like
your formative years.
Yeah.
And is that what led you to healing? And your ballet teacher, didn't she eventually lead you to somatic healing?
Yeah, she did.
Is that how you got here?
Exactly.
But you lived in this chronic state for so long.
Yeah, I feel like I grew up in survival mode. The first time I experienced sexual assault, I can't remember if I was 7 or 8, but it was around that time. And then it happened every summer when I would visit my extended family, between 7 to 11. So
Liz.
Yeah, so it was a lot, and I started to.
It's so unfair.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, F that.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
That happened to you, because it's just so unfair to steal that from a child.
I know. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so I feel like my baseline growing up was like I was my body was like very stressed out, and I was very hyper vigilant, and I couldn't sleep after that. So I had a lot of sleep issues quite young, because it always happened in the middle of the night.
Dang it.
Yeah. And
you're
then
sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. And then, as I continued to not sleep well, I started experiencing other chronic health conditions. So I had chronic pain super young. I was like 18 when I first started experiencing chronic pain. I was also a dancer, so I was a little confused. I was like, maybe it's from ballet. And I quit dancing for 2 years, but it got significantly worse. So then I got back into ballet, back into dance, because I loved it and it brought me so much joy. And it was this it felt like I was like reclaiming my body with dance too. And my ballet teacher was the person who introduced me to somatics, because she noticed how dissociated I was when I wasn't dancing.
Just totally disconnected from your body?
I would say more just like I was very zoned out.
Were you afraid, or were you scared of all people assaulting you? Or what goes through your mind when you're like living in that constant fear, especially so young and you don't even know how to put words to this?
I was afraid of like men in general, and older men in general. So I wasn't scared of, my brother. I wasn't scared of the boys at my school. I was just afraid of older men, and I was scared that would happen to me around any older man.
So how did you come to terms with the fact? Like, when did you realize, okay, this isn't right, this isn't normal? You probably always knew it wasn't right. When did you realize that, like, okay, I gotta like dive into this and like claim this and heal this and work on this? Like, what was your process of like transforming from the victim to actually now turning this into, you're this empowered woman who's helping others? That's a big journey. It's a big journey,
and it took me some time. In high school, I had always been a really good student and like a really good girl, and then in high school I started like ditching class a lot, and I started like paying someone to like mark me there. I'm not proud to admit that, but
I think that's great.
But I was doing that, and I was really close friends with this woman, Emily, who I'm still really close friends with, and we've been friends since we were 3. And she was very concerned about me. She knew that I had been sexually assaulted, and she was like, please go to the counselor.
And you hadn't really told your parents flat out though, right?
I had tried to tell my mom, but it didn't really work. And so then I didn't really have the language for how to explain it. And then, um, after a while of trying to tell her, I just like gave up. But I was afraid of my dad. My dad wasn't the perpetrator, but I was just like scared of him because he was kind of angry. And so I didn't tell him at all. And so I went to the school counselor and they were like, gave me a pamphlet on PTSD and just like told me that I could come in and sit there whenever I needed to. But there was no like counseling that happened. So I actually majored in psychology in college. It was like my first step into trying to heal. And then I knew that I had like way too many health issues going on too young. And so that's when I started to try. I went to a bunch of doctors and chiropractors, and I got into alternative healing with like acupuncture. I did yoga for 10 years, meditation. Like I would try anything, but nothing really made me feel better long term.
What were your chronic issues?
I had a thyroid condition. I had a thyroid imbalance, and then chronic pain and the insomnia. And the insomnia lasted for like 10 years. So
you always say this is when you have these symptoms, it's your body screaming at you that there's something wrong.
Yes.
It's not like, oh, go take a pill. There's like a root issue.
Yes.
It's trying to tell you something.
Yeah. And it's hard when you don't know what it means, like,
right.
and so many of us are conditioned and rightful. And, it's a good practice to go to the doctor. But if you go to the doctor and they tell you nothing's wrong with you or it's just stress, you don't really know what to do from there. And most people can't just change their life. Like they can't just all of a sudden not have a job or not have a kid or completely become like stress free and be a monk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a mountain,
yeah, just like leave life.
Yeah.
Check out.
Yeah. So, I didn't really know what to do with that information.
So you're just kind of alone.
Yeah. I really figured everything out by myself, which is part of the reason why I'm so vocal now, because it took me 10 years to figure out what modalities to do. And I feel like I made a lot of choices early on that were very well intentioned, but didn't actually help me heal long term. So that's why I'm very vocal about like yoga's not the best first thing, but like do it later. Yeah. And that's been really helpful to like know what to do in what order.
So what would you say the order is? And is it specifically for people who are just stored trauma? Is it any kind of trauma?
Yeah, I mean, for me, mine was like a very body-based trauma, like sexual assault for women overall. It shuts you down from your body and it can make you feel really disconnected from your body. And it's so common for women that I feel like we just kind of like continue to function. It's so normalized and we're just like, okay, this happened and now I just keep going. But any sort of trauma for somatic healing is great for anything that's affecting your body and giving you these physical symptoms. So if you're clenching your jaw right now and you don't even realize it, or if you have sleep issues, if you have unexplained gut issues that the doctor can't attribute to something else, like an allergy, for example, if you have frequent headaches or migraines, if you like drive home and you like sit in your car for 10 minutes dissociating, or you sit in the closet trying to get dressed and you're like dissociating for a long time, or if you finish your day and you just like have no energy and completely crash out at the end of the day, like all of those are physical symptoms that you're storing trauma or that your body is kind of holding too much stress and that you need to release some to bring it back. And you also
talk about high functioning women. Like
yes.
There's a lot of women who are crushing the game out there.
Yes.
Who like literally are bosses and you're like, but they are really undercover just dying inside, exhausted, overwhelmed, and not dealing with any of the internal nervous system or their trauma or any of it. So like it can be disguised in these very functioning women.
Yeah. And this is a state in the nervous system called functional freeze, which means it's a blended state. So nervous system dysregulation is just a fancy way of saying survival mode. So physiologically, that's fight, flight, freeze. Women who are high functioning tend to live during the day in fight or flight. And that's why they can crush it. Like they can do super great in their career. They can do super great with their family, great at school. But then when they come home, they go into freeze, which is like your nervous system in its off position, which is where you're exhausted. You can barely even order food. You're just like sitting on a couch for 4 hours or sitting in bed for 4 hours, like selecting a Netflix show is like too much, you know, and you're just like you're responding with one word answers. You may not cry anymore. You may feel very emotionally numb. And then that's essentially your body trying to conserve as much energy as possible because it knows the next day you're going to wake up, crush it again, and expend all your energy during the day.
So it's not really fulfilling ultimately, right?
It's not a sustainable way of
living. I
living.
feel great because you can achieve a lot.
Yeah.
But you're really just like, you can't really ever relax or enjoy the process because you're so either on or completely just wiped.
Yeah. You're just living in these two really extreme states where you're very, very on and then you're very, very off. And there's this Goldilocks place in the middle where you're relaxed and open and playful and you have time for fun and you have energy to socialize and you can be spontaneous. And don't get me wrong, like sitting on the couch sometimes and just like watching TV sometimes is totally fine. Like, but it's when you start to do that as a pattern every night.
A coping mechanism.
Yeah, every night or almost every night when you don't have an event. And that's like your default and you're doing that for weeks, months, years.
Yeah. So what exactly is somatic healing? Like, because I thought it was breath work and it's not.
Yeah.
It can be?
It can be. There are different schools of somatics. Breath work tends to identify as like its own thing.
Okay.
But breath work does heal the body. So soma is the Greek word for body.
Okay.
So somatic healing is literally healing your body. Somatic exercises, which is what I teach, are these tiny micro movements.
So tiny.
It's
just, and you said it like little tiny, like lazy movements,
yeah.
right? Like you're just like barely moving on the bed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, you can do them in bed or on the floor and they release stress out of your body, release trauma out of your body, release tension out of your body, and regulate your nervous system.
So how do you, is there like a list of them that you learn, or what exactly does it look like?
There are different exercises that help you with different things and different symptoms. The way I teach it is we're releasing habitual muscle tension first. Then we release deeper muscle tension, like in your psoas muscle and in your jaw, which are kind of your muscular first responders when you go into fight or flight.
That form like TMJ and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. The jaw is one of the first things, the masseter muscle specifically, which is on the side of your jaw here, is one of the first muscles to clench when you're in fight or flight. It's a very strong muscle and it's meant to help you fight or flee. But like now in modern society, we go into fight or flight from an email. You know, we're not like fighting a predator normally.
Well, sometimes I feel like the world's about to collapse. I'm literally like, are we about to enter World War III?
Yeah.
The world is run by satanic people.
I know.
That freaks me out.
It's terrifying.
Like I'm just coming out of my spiral. Like when the whole Epstein files came out and like all these leaders are in it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then all these wars and then all these kids and then women like you surviving sexual assault. And I'm like, what is happening? Why is this the life that we are living?
I know.
Why is darkness so, like, how can people just give in to darkness?
Yeah.
I struggle with that so much because, like, I know we're not living in fight or flight per se, but it's like covert.
Yes.
It is like danger everywhere.
It is. And reading the news now it can set you into a fight or flight state. And I do think that, you know, for me, like, the Epstein files, reading them felt like re-experiencing trauma.
Yeah. How does that feel for someone who's lived through something so awful and traumatic like that? And then to see this coming out on such a worldwide scale with all these influential people who are running the countries. Yeah.
I mean, it's very scary. What those women experienced was more extreme than what I experienced. And it like completely shattered my sense of reality, you know? And I just have so much sympathy and empathy for them, and the fact that they're not really being believed, and then the fact that that this has come forward in the public eye and there's still no justice for them is very hard to process as a survivor. But also as a survivor, you kind of know because many survivors of childhood sexual assault will tell their family or they'll tell someone and nothing really happens.
Why?
I think partially because it's very hard to process for people. Like it's very hard for people to like, I think especially when it happens in a family, there's already so many other dynamics present in that family that are abusive, that like coming forward and standing up for the child will harm the family
The whole
unit.
family would just fall.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we just don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
We just want to pretend like it's not here at your expense.
Exactly. And then, you know, there's some things like for my story is like, I didn't have the language to communicate it with my mom. I told her that there were monsters in my bed, but I was also 7. So I had no clue what sex was. I had no clue what was happening to me when it was happening. And then
nobody talked about stuff back then where it's like nobody touches you.
Right.
Like that wasn't like, no one was talking about anything.
Yeah, no, I did not get that talk.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was not, we were not aware.
Yeah. Yeah, and I grew up in a pretty like patriarchal family where like men led the family. There were a lot of men on that side of the family. My dad is one of 5 boys. And there was a lot of like rage that was and anger that was very like, and violence that was very normalized in the family. Like I saw one of my uncles use a baseball bat and like destroy all of his furniture because he lost in gambling one day.
Okay.
So for me, like that was it wasn't like, I knew it was weird, but that was kind of the environment of my extended family. Luckily, my nuclear family wasn't like that. My dad was angry, but he wasn't physically violent like that. But, you know, I think that when you're a kid and you see that, and then you have this thing that's happening to you, and those are the people that are doing it, you're like, is it worth me sharing this? Am I going to be that desk? You know, like it's very scary.
So what did that make your personality like?
Yeah, I mean, I was so hyper aware of everyone else. I was like so attuned to everyone else's emotions. I definitely like tried to keep quiet and people please, and just like, you know, like I kind of hid behind doing well in school and like being very polite for a long time. Yeah, because I was kind of trying to hide and disappear. And then as a teenager, I got angry and I kind of rebelled. But yeah, as a young kid, I was really trying to disappear and just not be noticed.
So you became a somatic healer. You've had 230,000 women work with you, and you were healing yourself. But was it still so hard to find a relationship? Because you also said you just left a big narcissistic marriage.
Yeah.
So even though like it just runs so deep, is it hard to break that cycle when that's all you've seen, even though you're healing, you're so aware of your healing?
Yeah. And that's like
like a trick.
It is. Yeah. So when I was in my like mid-20s, I studied Pilates and I studied different forms of somatics, and I was mentored by this woman, Augusta Moore, in teaching somatics for 6 years. And in my 20s, I kind of like had this great life. Like I was feeling really good.
Had you like been processing what happened? Like you're feeling like you're taking ownership of your life at that point?
Yeah, I felt really good. I had some more healthy relationships. I had some less healthy relationships, but like I was feeling like I was on the up at that time. And then when I turned 30, I met my now ex-husband, and at first, so he's a narcissist. And
does it make you nervous to talk about him?
It like makes me tense. Can you feel it?
Oh, well, I feel nervous because I'm like, he's out there.
Yeah, you know? He's out there. Legally, I can't say his name, which is great.
Yeah. But I
can talk about it. Okay. Yeah.
Are you like scared that he's gonna like do something?
I mean, I am in a place now in my life where like I have so many resources. Like my business is so successful and I've been so successful, and he is not. So like I don't really feel like he like and I think he's on his third or fourth wife at this point.
Okay.
And his first wife reached out to me when I first shared my story and was like, beat by beat, the exact same thing happened to me. So he kind of like
It's a pattern.
does
He hasn't
this.
done any of his healing, obviously.
No.
But they like love bomb you in the beginning, right?
Yeah. So the relationship was wonderful at first. Like, and we had this great, I thought he was my dream partner. And
so what is that? What are they doing in the beginning? What is a narcissist doing? Because you also help women heal with narcissism.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Just so any woman out there who's like dating and maybe thinking like, this guy is a dream.
Yeah.
But what is the pattern?
Yeah. I experienced a lot of love bombing. So, for example, I had told him, like, this happened very early in the relationship. I had told him that I had always wanted to play drums as a child, and that instead I played clarinet, which is like such a different vibe. And he played music, and one day when I got home, there was a whole drum set for me. And I was very excited about
takes
that.
Your breath away.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, this is amazing.
Like,
like
he is thinking about
yes.
me, he sees me.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
You feel so special.
I felt so seen. I felt like very
so
much.
Wanted,
yeah. Like I was like, wow, no one's
cherished.
ever done that. But it was very early in the relationship. So if you have someone that's done like a big gesture for you like that, but you've been dating them for like a year plus, not necessarily a red flag of love bombing, but if you've been dating them for like 1 to 2 months and they do that, that's a little bit fast.
Yeah.
The relationship also progressed really quickly. So we got married after a year, or we got engaged after a year, and then he kind of was like, let's elope, because you have a difficult relationship with your dad anyways. Like, you wouldn't want him to walk you down the aisle necessarily. Like, he used a lot of my family stuff against me to kind of coerce me into doing things that, in my looking back, I'm like, I wouldn't have eloped. Like, I would have wanted my family there, and I would have just had that conversation with my dad. But he used all that against me. So we got engaged, and like 3 days later we got married at the courthouse in New York.
Did you feel happy when you're getting married, or did you kind of feel sick?
I felt happy emotionally, but my jaw locked and I didn't listen to it, which is very hard for me to admit.
Did you know that at this point? You'd been doing
I had been doing it.
So you knew that this was a sign.
Yeah. And I was like, why is my jaw locking? But I really didn't want, like, I was like, something must be wrong, but I really didn't want it to be true because I was so in love with him. Before it locked, I had to like eat smoothies for a few days, and I know how to release my jaw. So I did, but like, that's hard for me to admit because I had already been teaching at that point for like 7 years.
It just goes to show, though, like, we all want love so
I
badly,
know.
you know?
I know.
And you want to believe it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, it's probably just a old reflex.
Yes, I was like, oh, it's probably, because I was a little nervous about getting married just overall.
And
like,
also,
it wasn't
so
necessary.
fast. Like,
yeah.
and you're not really probably telling your parents. It's like a lot of things that rushing your nervous system.
Yes.
Your nervous system was not calm.
Yes, it wasn't calm. So that's another thing to look out for, is like the relationship's moving fast and you're moving quickly through kind of like the major steps of the relationship, like moving in together quickly, getting engaged quickly, getting married quickly.
Why do they want to do all this so fast?
My theory, and this is also a lot of psychologists who specialize in narcissism talk about this as well, is that they can't like pretend for that long.
So they need to lock you up.
Yeah. And so they like can't like mask and pretend to be this awesome person for that long. So right after we got married, it was like a Jekyll and Hyde situation.
Like immediately?
Like 2 days after, he immediately changed. He like pulled, I think, $10,000. I had just put like,
so were y'all sharing money?
Yeah.
Too? And you were already making a bunch of money?
I like had saved a bunch of money. I was making like Pilates teacher and somatics teacher wage, but I was good at saving, and I wasn't like wealthy, but I could always afford to go on a little vacation and like buy myself a little thing. He was not, but he pretended like he was.
Okay, so then
I didn't ask to see his financials on paper, which I should have.
Okay. So then y'all share a bank account.
So we opened a joint bank account, and I put like $12,000 in, And like 3 days after getting married, like 10,000 was just gone. And I was like, what happened to all of that money?
What happened?
He said that it was for our move to New York, but I was like, dude, we're like driving across the country with our dogs and we're staying at La Quinta Inn. Like, we're not like,
and also you're gonna pay for that as you go.
Yeah.
Take a chunk out.
Yeah. So what was interesting though was that like he immediately isolated me. So I had grown up in California, born and raised in California, and we like right after we got married, we got married in New York. We were on a trip there, and we immediately moved to New York. And so I was completely isolated from my friends and from my family, and I was really ashamed that that had happened. So I didn't tell my parents that that had happened initially, because they loved him at first.
He
love bombed them too. He love bombed my brother. Like, my brother and him would play music together. So
dang it. How did you get out?
It was actually COVID. So like I was the primary breadwinner for us, and so I worked 6 days a week, and it was like no matter how much I made, it was just always gone. You know,
no explanation.
I mean, he would say it was for this or for that, but like I was starting to get really upset because I had never.
When you got upset, what he get?
He would get like kind of physically aggressive, not in like the hitting sense, but like in the like taking my car and not letting me use it, or like cornering me into a corner in the house, and like he was like twice my size. You know, so
fear.
Yeah.
There's so much fear.
Yeah.
So is your body just freaking out? Like, are you going back into all your childhood survival mechanisms? Are you noticing this? Because now you're so advanced as a healer, so you can kind of like realize what your body's saying to you. What do you do in that situation? Because you do have so much wisdom now.
Yeah.
But you're in another situation that's trapped.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a repeating yet different.
Exactly.
Scary scenario.
Yeah, it was very scary. Before the pandemic happened, I was working 6 days a week, and I was in New York, and I was getting panic attacks every day. And then I started fainting. And those were new symptoms for me. I hadn't experienced that in childhood. I was also having sleep issues and chronic pain flare-ups too. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, you're fainting. I don't know, like, you're hydrated. Everything's fine.
But your body's just freaking out.
My body was freaking out. And I knew at that point, I was like, something is up, and I'm pretty sure it's my husband.
Yeah. You're feeling fine before all this.
Yeah. I had no financial issues before that, and I was making significantly less money before. And yeah, I mean, my mom got sick with cancer, and we moved back to LA, and the pandemic hit like right after we moved back. And when the pandemic hit, I finally had time to like breathe and go through our financial statements, and look at every transaction. And he had done other things, like he had like changed my password. Like there was a lot of like tech abuse where he had like a remote access device on my computer and had like changed my password. So I had a really hard time logging into our joint account. And then he like had sent you know how when you do a 2-factor, it like sends the email or the notification. He had like rerouted it to his phone.
So you didn't have to go to you.
Yeah. So I could like never get in. So he was very sophisticated at abuse. And I was like, dude, if you just like put that energy into like having a job.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, and it just goes to show, I mean, sadly, obviously something terrible happened to him, or like something very traumatic formed him to make him this way.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I always ultimately I can feel bad for anyone, because I'm like, something happened to you.
Totally.
You know, and but then at some point it is your responsibility to do the work.
Yeah. And
identify and heal this.
Yeah. And that doesn't give you like a green light to abuse other people.
Exactly.
You know, and especially as an adult, like you have to own your own behavior, and you have to heal yourself. I talk about this a little bit on social media, but like narcissists and empaths normally have the same core wounds,
Oh.
and they've just responded really differently
Okay, see, I'm
to
such
it.
an empath.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
can feel it. I
it
can feel it.
I think that's why probably there's somatically I'm doing some things wrong. That's why
Yeah.
like now that I have my little bubble of my
Yeah.
house, I just like I don't it's hard for me to get out there in the world because I used to get out and like really feel everyone and like want to be there, and like if I felt someone was in pain, I'd want to hear their whole story and try to save them and
Yeah.
help them feel worthy. And now I'm just like I just can't do
Yeah.
it. I just want to not meet anyone.
Yeah, you want to
That's probably
be
bad though.
I mean, it makes sense. You want to be in your safe space.
So my nervous system isn't just all up and down.
Exactly.
Trying to regulate my nervous system, I've tried it for so long, and I finally feel like I'm in a really good place.
That's great.
But I'm 42 years old.
Yeah.
And it took me to honestly having Sunny, my daughter,
Yeah.
and realizing that I had to get my shit together.
Right,
because I'm her example.
Yeah. And there's this thing called mirror neurons, which is, and this is very common in like parent-child interactions, is that if you're calm and regulated, your child can feel that and they're naturally calm and regulated. But if you're in fight or flight or in freeze, your child feels that and mirrors that as well. So a lot of people, a lot of women specifically have this awakening when they have a child of like, oh,
no more playing around.
Yep.
Gotta like figure this out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, it's great. Yeah.
I guess she was my prompt. Like because I could never do it until her.
Yeah.
And then once she came around, that's like right when I met Jessica. I hired a life coach, and I was like, I've got to figure out how to be worthy. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, but what are the common cores of narcissists? Core wounds of narcissists and empaths. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, both of them are generally from a narcissistic family system as well, or they've experienced some sort of abuse in their childhood, or a family member with undiagnosed mental health issues or alcoholism or substance abuse. So they've been in difficult situations quite young and had to learn how to navigate that. And the empath let me talk about the narcissist first. The narcissist responds by like being controlling and being aggressive and like bullying other people to stay safe.
To not feel. Oh, to stay safe. So they're going to just be the ultimate leader, the ultimate in charge.
Yep.
They're going to bestow the orders and issue all of the rules, and if they cause pain, it's coming from them. They're not going to feel the pain.
Exactly.
So they'll be in charge so no one can hurt them.
Exactly that.
And everyone will follow them.
Yep.
So then they're never going to be hurt.
Right. Exactly that.
So a lot of leaders are very narcissistic.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that in politics. There's a lot of that like as CEOs of businesses. You know, if you have like that scary boss or like that boss that like can't listen to you, there perhaps are those patterns as well. And you can be narcissistic but not have narcissistic personality disorder, and it's a spectrum. But then empaths generally respond by being hyper aware of other people's emotions, wanting to help other people, self-sacrificing, you know, like self-abandoning behaviors, people-pleasing behaviors, being really kind and open, which are all great traits if you're not being taken advantage of by someone who is abusive or narcissistic.
So when did you get divorced?
I got divorced. We were married for 3 years. And I think what was so hard for me was like, I got divorced in early 2021 and 2020 hit, COVID hit. And that was when I was like, oh, I have to get out of this because I was around him all the time. I wasn't at work all the time. And I was like, F this, like he's horrible. And then B, what was so hard for me was we were in California in like lockdown and I literally couldn't go to someone else's house. Like the fear of getting COVID was very high initially, and like you weren't really allowed to go to people's houses.
Nobody knew what was happening.
Yeah. And so it was like I couldn't really leave.
So you were just stuck
I
together
was just
in the
stuck.
house.
Yeah.
So
and
COVID, it was a nightmare for you with him.
Yeah, it was really scary. I could barely get out of bed. But that's when I started posting my exercises online. I posted on TikTok and I had 0 followers. And I was just doing it as like a visual diary for myself because I had no energy and I was so shut down. And I was like, let me just do 1 exercise per day and I'll keep this like journal on TikTok where no one knows me. And it just like took off.
So that's how your online business exploded.
Yeah.
Because you were just literally in your
rock
own
bottom.
Yeah. Pulling yourself out.
Yeah.
And sharing on TikTok. So it's coming from a really real place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people just resonated.
Yeah. I've had like 2 big phases of trauma in my life. One was childhood and then the other was my marriage and then getting out of it.
Do they have common themes to you? Do you think it's a repeating theme or is it a different theme for both?
I think there's a lot of repeating patterns. Like, you know, and I am not anti-men at all, but like men who are very controlling and angry were the perpetrators of all of my abuse. And because I'm 5'2", and all of the men were like significantly bigger than me and had like kind of physical
power over you.
Yeah, I was very scared. And then the sexual abuse was also, you know, like a pattern as well, because that happened with my husband where he'd like kind of force sex on me because we were married, and like part of me didn't want to do it, but part of me was like, well, he'll be in a better mood and I'll be safer, which is also a like kind of like mind F to navigate after the fact.
Man.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Liz, I
just take a deep exhale.
I'm literally like, though, and I've said this before because I've had the great opportunity to interview so many incredible people.
Yeah.
And I've found this theme that like everyone has trauma.
Yeah.
But when you start with childhood trauma and that's your baseline, and it's the people who are supposed to be keeping you safe.
Yeah.
And that's violated at a young age. I mean, it breaks my heart. Like,
yeah.
It's just so unfair because then you are now sent on this mission into this world of wolves. Because you don't have anyone guiding you who's safe.
Right.
Know? I mean, obviously you have some people who are not hurting you, but like nobody that you can reach out to. You're on your own. This is your baseline for how life is supposed to be, how people treat you. So you have to go figure all this out from a child, and you don't have an example of someone who's it's just so unfair.
Yeah.
And like the journey that you've gone on has made you this incredible, powerful, amazing woman. And I mean, that would be the payoff of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's just so, it breaks my heart that this started so young for you because you've done such an incredible job of navigating, but it's just like, how do you even know who to trust, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very confusing. And that's actually something that's really important in trauma healing is there's a thing called betrayal trauma, which is when you tell the people that are supposed to be taking care of you what happened and they don't support you and they don't do anything about it. It's this betrayal trauma, and it's actually often harder. It often takes people longer to heal from that in therapy than it does from the initial traumatic event or events in the first place. So the childhood sexual assault happened, and that was awful. But like what has taken me longer to heal is the fact that I wasn't supported as a child and the fact that I had to navigate everything by myself.
So how do you feel now that you've come through all this? And you're 35, is that right?
I'm 40.
40? Welcome to the 40 club.
Thank you.
How do you feel now after going through your whole life, your childhood journey, and then getting to a place of kind of healing after, but then immediately getting into this adult journey? Now you're 40, but it's like, okay, you're at a new chapter. You've lived through so much. You've written this incredible book, When the Body Speaks. Like, how do you feel, Liz? What do you feel? Like, what are you feeling like this next the back half, the best half is going to be for you?
I mean, I feel badass now.
Heck yes, you do.
I'm very proud of myself. When I was in my 20s and trying any healing modality, I worked with a couple different psychics. I was very open to
I've tried everything too. What did you learn?
And one of the psychics was like, oh, you're gonna go far in life, and I was like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't book again with her because I was like, what is she talking
Like, I
about?
am treading water
Yeah.
right now. I am not going far.
I was like, this feels like the most inaccurate thing ever. And I was, at that time I was just like trying to like have a really stable life, and that is a great thing to have. But she was like, you're going to be so successful, you're going to go really far, you're going to impact a lot of people in the world. And I was like, this feels
cray.
yeah.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, wow, Sarah,
She knew it.
Sarah knew.
She saw the big picture.
Yeah. She was like, oh, she was like saying like your headspace is so open and this and that, and I was like, I don't know, but now coming out of it all, and being able to hold space for other women's healing and having my story help inspire other women, is totally an honor. And I'm really, really grateful. And I still kind of pinch myself every day because I still wake up and I'm like, this is my life.
So what is your daily life? Like, how do these 230,000 women get to you? How are
Yeah.
you communicating with people? How are people working with you? You're
Yeah.
podcasting too. Like, tell me what you're doing. You're writing a book, When the Body Speaks, which is out April 7th, everyone. Yay. What are you doing in your day to day? Like, what does your work, home life balance, all that look like?
Yeah. Do you want me to like go through a little day in the life?
Yes.
I tend to wake up early because I go to bed pretty early. So I wake up around like 5:30 or 6, but I don't. I do sleep well.
Because you have all these techniques.
I do
for
sleep
sleeping.
really well now. I don't wake up to an alarm. I just like wake up. I normally do like 5 or 10 minutes of somatics in bed. Then I grab myself some coffee. I hang out with the dogs, hang out outside for a little bit. Recently I've been reading the news in the morning, which then like puts me into fight or flight a little bit. So then I'll like do more exercises. But before all of this was going on, I didn't really do that in the morning. But yeah, I work really hard. I have a team of 11 people.
What? What are they all doing?
Like 6 of them are all customer facing. So we do like a lot of support for our customers. Or our students.
Are people joining classes?
Yeah. So I have an app and I have courses. And
what is the app and courses called?
The app is called Embody.
Okay.
And it's available on my website, theworkoutwitch.com. And my courses are also available on theworkoutwitch.com. And the courses are shorter.
Is it like somatic healing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a 30, 60, or 90-day journey in the courses. And then the app is for like ongoing support. And most of my team, over half of my team, is supporting the students, either on social media or via email or on the app itself. And, I have some help with like emails and tech.
So a bunch of people are reaching out to you.
Yeah. We get like 500 DMs a day.
Stop it.
Yeah.
So you are not blocked off from abundance.
No.
I feel like sometimes I block that for myself.
Yeah.
You are wide open to abundance.
Yeah, I welcome that.
Good for you.
Yeah. It's funny, like I'm a Taurus. I don't know how woo I can get.
Go as woo as you want. I love woo.
Great. But as a
So you're a bull.
Yes, I'm a bull. And as a 5-year-old, I was like, I know I was very into luxury. As a young child,
you knew what was
I
nice.
knew what was nice, and I always wanted to be like a luxury lady. And I know that can be kind of controversial, but it's not. I'm not like
you should enjoy
wasting. I actually donate a lot of money, but
I think that's very intentional. It makes you feel how you want to feel.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. Like,
yeah.
I have sensory issues. Like I get overstimulated quite easily, and so it's nice for me to be able to like take a flight and be in a different lounge where it's quieter, or like stay at a hotel where there's not like a ton of buzzing. Like for me, that's very, very helpful. And I feel like I've worked really hard to get there.
When did the abundance just start to flow in?
In late 2022. So like
and what
1 year.
changed in you?
1 year after getting divorced.
You freed yourself.
Yeah, I freed myself. I was like, I think in like early 2022, I was listening to like Meg the Stallion and Cardi B on repeat as I was doing Pilates. I was a Pilates instructor, and I was, helping other women one-on-one with injury recovery, with somatics, and with Pilates. And we were all listening to boss bitch music, and I was just feeding myself with like power anthems. And I feel like spite really motivated me in the beginning of my business. It's not sustainable to be motivated by spite, but like kind of like the FU of it all.
Yeah.
Um, really helped me have this drive early on. And then I realized like, okay, I need to like not work from that place anymore and work from a place of like love and service.
Yeah.
And my business now is very mission driven. So my goal is really to help women release stress and trauma so they're not held back by their past, no matter how much they've been through.
Mm-hmm. And when you say a bunch of trauma is held in the hips,
Yeah.
is like is it a majority?
Well, it can be stored in different places for different people. The two most common places are jaw and hips. Because those, like we were talking about earlier, those are the first muscular responders to your fight or flight reaction. In the hips specifically, there's a muscle called the psoas muscle. It's spelled PSOAS. And it's a really large muscle. It connects your upper body to your lower body. It's also a very deep muscle, and it contracts when you go into fight or flight. But what's interesting about that muscle is it doesn't release until you like manually release it. So it doesn't release on its own. Whereas like with your jaw, you can kind of like massage it, or you can go to a person and it's painful, but you can get it released. But like this is such a deep internal muscle, and it's very hard to release. You can go to a massage therapist and get it released, but it's very painful. So part of what I teach in my courses is how to release that muscle naturally. There's a technique called pendiculation, and there are other techniques that your body, that's kind of like a built-in release for that muscle in your body, but most people don't know how to do it. And we start with releasing a bunch of other muscle tension first before we go into the psoas muscle, so that it's not painful and it doesn't overwhelm you. But when people release that muscle, they often will cry a lot. And that is kind of what we're talking about, like trauma being stored in the hips is that muscle contraction, and also the way your stress hormones kind of run through your body. Yeah.
So what is your goal with this book? When the Body Speaks, How Somatic Healing Sets You Free. What is your goal for this, for people who get this book?
Essentially to help people understand what their body is saying to them, like understand what the symptoms are saying. So if you have gut issues, or if you've had depression or anxiety for a long time, the book really breaks it down in simple, easy to understand language.
So diagnosis, like what each body part is telling you?
Yeah, I mean, it talks about it not so much a diagnosis, but it really tells like patterns of what may have happened or what may be going on that are quite consistent for people.
With specific body parts? Like if you have a migraine,
yeah,
this relates to this.
Yeah.
Is this kind of like Louise Hayes?
I love Louise Hay. Yeah, I love Louise Hay.
I look her up all the time.
Yeah, she's great.
She because I'm like, why am I having whatever happening? I'm like, what's going on with me here? Is it kind of like that? It can like you can tell you a specific body, or not specific, but like kind of.
Yeah. I mean, you can really understand what your body signals are much better through this book. I use my story to illustrate it. I use a bunch of my students' stories to illustrate it, and neuroscience and just the science behind how stress and trauma are stored in your body. And then at the end of the book, there are different routines, like 3 exercise routines. So for like sleep issues, for anger release, for stress release, that you can try in the book.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I do have sleep issues.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? My trauma is not resolved.
It could be just a lot of stress too. Like sleep is one of the most sensitive systems in your body, and it's often one of the first things to get disrupted for people is sleep. So essentially like if you're really stressed out, constantly stressed, it's very hard for you to relax. And to sleep well, you need to have your body be able to relax.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, for even for women who like just had a baby or have a young kid, like it can be very hard because you're thinking about the kid and you're wanting to make sure that you're aware and awake and like you're in this phase of like protecting the kid too. So a lot of women that I've worked with who have younger kids have sleep issues, which is very normal. But and there can be like some hypervigilance associated with having sleep issues, and it also can be unresolved trauma too.
I feel like I have been working on my trauma for 20 years. And I am like, I am done with the first half of my life.
Yeah.
I am like, I don't need to revisit any of it.
Yeah.
I've named it. I've claimed it. I've worked through it. I have done so many different modalities. I mean, I'm sure there's still somewhere in there, but I'm like, it doesn't make me like cry anymore. I don't get like upset. I don't even have feelings about it anymore. So I feel like hopefully I'm done with my first half, and now I'll have tools for the next half.
That's great. That's a great place to
be. Tools.
Yeah, the body's often the missing link for people. So like going to talk therapy, doing EMDR, all of those are great. I do EMDR still sometimes. I go to talk therapy twice a month sometimes. I've had the same therapist for like 4 years. I love them. But the body's often the missing link for people. So if you're still experiencing sleep issues,
maybe that's what time it is.
Yeah,
connecting with the body.
Yeah, and when I first started somatics, it was like you had to go to class for like an hour and a half. And it just like took so long, and I was like, I can't focus enough for this. But I really done a lot of work to adapt it to modern lifestyle. So my classes are like 10 minutes or less.
Oh.
And they're still incredibly effective, and you can just do them in bed and just boop from your phone. It's not like a huge commitment. It's not a huge commitment. No, because who has time for that?
You know, that's been the thing I've struggled with like courses. I've done a few courses with like healers and people who have a lot of great stuff to teach. But it's like such a commitment.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to like go on these like 2-hour Zoom calls, and you have to do all this homework. And
no.
Then you have to like check in. And
no one wants that.
All this stuff. It's like it's a full-time job, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be that committed to it.
No.
I want to do it when it's just like easy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I had that same experience with healing too, where I was like, this is so much work
and all consuming.
Yeah. And that's stressful in itself.
Yes.
So like my whole thing is trying to help people get out of their physiological stress response. And I can't do that by asking people to do like 2-hour-long classes and Zoom calls and homework. No one wants to do that.
No one wants to do that.
So 5 to 10 minutes. Yes. From your phone. Boop. Done.
And you can unlock years of stored trauma.
Yeah.
Like you really have seen results.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a 99% success rate with our courses.
No matter what your trauma has been?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like getting it out of do people even have to know what it is, or can they just release it?
They can just release it. So I sequence everything in a very intentional way. And I feel really confident about what I teach.
Sequence? Like, what is what do you mean? Is there like a program? Like, if someone was to sign up for your program, what are they going to do? And then we'll wrap it up with this because we've probably been, what would it look like if someone's like, okay, this sounds like something for me. I know I have some trauma. I don't even know how to tap into it.
Yeah.
But I need to release it. I need to get in touch with my body. Like, and they want to sign up with you. What is that going to look like? Yeah.
So the first course I suggest trying, if that's your situation, is called Release Stress and Stored Trauma. It's a 30-day course. It averages about 10 minutes per day. And just kind of like what to expect is the first 5 to 10 days are just releasing habitual muscle tension. So you'll feel really relaxed. You're going to start to feel better, sleep better in like 3 days. Then from there, we start to release deeper muscle tension. We start to release the jaw. We start to release the psoas, like I referenced earlier. Day 18 through 25 are the trauma releasing days. And when you release trauma, essentially you get your body to do like these tiny little shakes. They're called neurogenic tremors. So when you experience trauma, your body naturally shakes, but we often kind of like stop the body from shaking.
Yeah.
But that shaking is what helps you finalize the stress response.
Yes.
And so in the course, I'm recreating that shaking in a very safe way so that your body can finalize that stress response and get out of it.
Are you speaking things into your, like, what are you thinking?
It's so I talk everyone through it, and you just really follow.
Listening to you.
Yeah, I'm demonstrating it on the video, and you just really follow the video, and
Okay.
you're doing these tiny movements with me. For the shaking specifically, like, you know how a dog shakes after it gets stressed?
Mm-hmm.
It's that same mechanism in humans, but we just like don't really let ourselves.
When I get nervous or like scared, my body will shake.
Yeah. And
too.
just let yourself. Even
Yeah.
though, yeah.
Like my teeth will chatter.
Yeah, mine do too. Mine do too. Yeah.
And I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, me too, because
this is embarrassing.
it
I'm
looks
giving
weird.
myself away.
It looks weird.
No, I'm panicking right now.
Yeah, totally. But it's actually really good. So if you're like home alone or in your car or anything and you feel that, just like let yourself do that.
Okay.
Because it's actually really good for your body.
Okay.
And if you've ever suppressed that, that's okay. That's super normal as well. And the course like will really help you release that past shaking that you kind of suppressed. And when people do that trauma release, they often cry. It's like this really big cry, and they feel significantly better afterwards. And then we kind of round out the 30-day journey with integration so that you just feel balanced and good by the end of it.
Man, that's so nice to know that you can do this naturally. Because
Yeah.
I told you earlier, like, I had a bunch of miscarriages and I just had a bunch of self-worth issues. And so like, I found this amazing healer, and I ended up doing a psilocybin journey with her.
Yes.
And I did 2 of them, and it was really great. And it kind of reminds me of this a little bit, because I felt like all of my past traumas, starting like I went back to like high school, were like in a line, and they just like washed over me, and I just cried through them all, and I felt them all, and I just like purged it. I didn't even know all that was stored inside of me,
Right.
but like I don't want to have to like go on a journey like that, you know. I mean, it was helpful, and I'm glad I did it, but it's nice to know that you can do this just on your own, you know, just with yourself and your body. You don't have to like
do a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And that's great that you experienced that too.
I couldn't believe all these memories that were popping up. But what I found out was I had stopped in the middle.
Right.
Because, you know, like when you experience something, you don't want to feel it. So you lock up and you don't go all the way through it.
Yep.
But like when you're on that journey, like you can't stop it. So it just like washes over you. And I was like, I had to end it. And then it just evaporated. And then the next one came. And then it evaporated. But it was exhausting. But I was like, dang, I didn't know all that was stored inside of me. It was like movies were playing. I was seeing it all over again. But I was like, I don't really want to do that on a regular basis. It's so exhausting.
It's really tiring.
But I'm glad I cleaned out my pipes.
Yes, you definitely cleaned out your pipes. You had like a big release, which is fantastic. Yeah. Super healing.
But I feel like this is something that is so sustainable. And like, to do that on a very regular basis is probably so healing.
Yeah, it is really good.
Keeping your body flowing.
Yes. Yeah, it is really good.
Man, Liz, you are amazing.
Thank you, Carolyn.
I'm so inspired by your life and your journey and what you overcame.
Thank you.
And how you used what happened to you to like turn it into a healing mechanism. And now you're helping so many women who have gone through it, who are currently in the middle of something traumatic, like have a way out, a resource out in a way to get there. Because sometimes it feels like you're just stuck and you're going to be locked in this prison forever.
Yeah.
But to see someone like you being like, no, come with me.
Yes. Let's get out of this.
Let's get out of this. Yeah. You're not trapped.
Yeah. Yeah. Being stuck you don't have to stay stuck. And it's very normal to feel stuck. But
that's why you need to see people who've gotten to the other side.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, that's so important.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you scared of dating?
No.
You're not?
No, I'm not. I have, so I'm gay. So I'm.
Love that.
Yeah.
Probably good decision.
Yeah. Yeah. So healing my trauma helped me like understand who I authentically was. And I think I was also not letting myself be gay.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you always kind of know?
As a little girl, I was like, I liked girls, honestly, for sure.
When you start off too with like the situation you did, men are just like, there's nothing attractive or in like, why would you want that? You know? It's not safe. It's not
Yeah.
There's no, it's not nurturing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally. And, like, I just think like women are so lovely. And so it's been like, I don't know if I would have had as easy of a time with getting back into dating. I waited over a year before I started dating again, after I got divorced. But
Had you ever dated women before?
I had been in like slightly interested in
Okay.
women, but I had never dated a woman before. And yeah, I'm like very feminine. So, growing up in the 90s, like there weren't many feminine gay women examples. It was like
Right.
Melissa Etheridge and Ellen.
They're like super masculine.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not that though.
Yeah.
So once I saw Portia, Ellen's wife, I was like, oh, I'm that though.
Okay.
Yeah. And so now it's like a whole new experience to be dating women. I've had the same partner for 3.5 years.
And how has that been?
It's been awesome. We just moved in together. We've been taking our relationship very slow.
Wonderful.
Which has been the opposite of what I did. And before, we just moved in together 3 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you feel just like peaceful?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's great.
great.
It's great.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy for you,
Thank
Liz.
you. Thank you.
I'm happy that you found this like redemption
Yeah.
on the other side of
Thank you.
all that you've gone through. You deserve that and
Thank
happiness.
you so much. I appreciate
Yay.
that.
And you are probably just you're just heart leading. It's not
Yeah.
like a rush.
No rush. And, a lot of this success and happiness was just like me being authentic and me putting out there what I had been through. And so I think people can feel that. And like, I wasn't like grinding or like striving. I do work very hard now, but I didn't have this goal of becoming this.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I relate to that so much. The whole grind and striving, it's like you're trying to make something happen when really like what's supposed to happen needs to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is just my personal feeling, but like, I think when you're having fun and you're doing something that you really care about, like it all just comes to you. You don't have to
Force it.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Liz, I love your journey and I love where you are.
Thank
What
you.
an inspiration you are to so many women who want to end up where you are, starting from a dark place.
Yeah.
And now look at you just like being this bright light, loving your life, having this super successful business that's so aligned with you and living this life of just like peace. Like it's a peace. It feels like it's a peaceful life that's just like coming naturally, not forced. And you're not like trying to please someone. You're literally just like living the life you're meant to live.
Thank you so much, Carolyn.
I always wrap up with leave your light,
Okay, great.
and it's open-ended. It's just drop some inspiration. How do you want to inspire people?
Okay. If you have like sleep issues or health conditions or headaches or any sort of like physical symptoms going on, you're not broken and it's not your fault. And you also don't have to stay stuck there.
So someone who has like constant migraines, is that like a root? There's something else happening.
I always say to go to the doctor first and like make sure it's not a medical condition or from some sort of medical condition. But if your doctor comes back and says it's stress, it's a good chance that your body is in its stress physiology, and that somatics will really help you reduce your symptoms.
It's so good to know about this. This is such a great tool for people to know that I didn't even know. I can't wait. We're going to try a little somatics.
Yeah. Should we try an exercise before we leave?
Yes, we should.
Okay, great.
Well, thank you so much for coming on here and joining me, Liz. This is amazing. Liz Tenuto.
Yes.
The Workout Witch. I'll follow you on Instagram. Where can everyone find you?
Oh, at the Workout Witch with an underscore at the end on Instagram, and theworkoutwitch.com/book for the book.
Okay, and it's out April 7th.
It's out April 7th.
And people can join your courses.
Yep. People can join my courses on theworkoutwitch.com. And then if you want to try an exercise first, you can DM me release, and I'll send you a 1-minute exercise to try.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Great meeting you.
Bye.
Bye.